Hey everybody, note the disclaimer, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you're really awesome, you can support me on Patreon, link is in the description below. Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a commission for CR. He wanted this for his son. It is another Death Egg robot. Now, I have been working on this for, frankly, a ridiculous amount of time. How long ago did he ask this? I think it was possibly October or November. It's been a while. That's because I was trying to make a whole bunch of other custom toys, and then it turns out that I had actually run out of some of the components to make it, so I had to order a bunch more. You know, the Lego Bionicle parts, get a new Party City ball, and he wanted a cockpit, so that meant hollowing out another Kool-Aid container, or, you know, powdered juice mix container. I don't know if it was specifically Kool-Aid brand. But we're back to making another Death Egg robot, and everybody loves the Death Egg robots, even though they're so big and so hard to make. But I love them, and everybody else loves them, so I endure. So that first picture you saw was with the cockpit components, the shoulders, and you can't see it, but the hips are also in there, so, you know, like, most of the physical part of the important assembly is done. So here we can concentrate on the decorative elements, such as on the front that has that little vent thing, and the two collar bits that make it actually look like Dr. Eggman's costume. On the back, of course, is that giant backpack, which I'm pretty sure is the power supply / jetpack. And, you know, I use good old-fashioned corks and some decorative wooden elements I bought at Michael's to actually glam it up a bit. And, yes, I know it's all red here. Don't worry, by the time it's done, it'll be its proper silver color. Alright, so, as per usual, the arms and legs are these, Lego Bionicle / Hero Factory bits. They're the ones that have, I think, 3 or 4 holes. Oh, man, I actually forgot how long they are. I don't know. I'll find out later. I sculpted on that whole double ball look with some epoxy sculpt. Gotta be careful not to go up too high, or else you can damage the flexibility of the Lego. So, you know, like, you gotta leave a little bit of the joint exposed so that it has room to flex on and off the ball joint, or else they'll snap. Trust me, I've accidentally broken these things because I sculpted the epoxy too high before. On the arm parts, it's the same thing, except that I embedded into the epoxy these 2 halves of a ping pong ball to make the round shoulder pads. So with that, the robot has biceps, it has thighs, it has a torso. So all that's left now are, like, you know, the rest of the extremities. Like always, the legs are made out of foam board. This is to keep it light and sturdy. And the Bionicle part, which is the skeleton of the joints and legs and stuff, is inside. It's attached to the front with a couple of conventional Lego pieces that are glued to the you know, front of the shin. And for an added strength boost, I actually measured out a wooden dowel which braces it against the back of the leg too. So now it's attached to both parts of the leg. Last time I made a Death Egg robot, I made sure that the legs wouldn't accidentally tear off the foam board from the inside by just filling up the whole thing with a bunch of hot glue to make sure there was a large contact patch, but that looked inelegant. And if you look down into the leg, it would look kind of ugly. So I find that this is a much more aesthetically pleasing solution. I mean, even if in order to appreciate it, you have to actually look down into the parts of your robot from weird angles. But, you know, every time I try to improve my craft, you know, like, I don't want to stagnate and, you know, start producing stuff that seems mediocre in the future. Of course, to give it a nice soft and uniform look, the exterior of it is covered with regular craft foam. This makes it feel a bit softer to the touch, and also looks a lot less like it's a cardboard cutout. Yeah. The head is the usual spiel. It's a Pokeball attached to the lid of the powdered juice mix container. The powdered juice mix container has the teeth drawn on, and then the head is decorated up to look like Dr. Eggman's face with his long red nose and big mustache. And the same wooden elements that I use on the backpack I also use for the ears, with toothpicks stuck inside to be the antennae. So with that, let's take a look at the arms, which are for the most part built exactly like the legs. Yes, it's the exact same joint that I used to make the legs. There's actually multiple Bionicle or Hero Factory joints that'll work. The important part is what you see on the left there, that it has a ball that's constrained on two sides so that you get an elbow bend. Basically what the arms are is just a box built around this joint to flesh it out. And yes, inside it's braced with the dowel just like the legs are. That way you can mess around and manipulate these things and not worry about accidentally tearing off the foam board, which let's be honest, on the inside of it, it is basically just thick paper. That's also kind of why I put the craft foam on the outside. It makes it nice and waterproof. The feet, I don't think I've ever been able to make the feet consistent between two Death Egg robots. Every Death Egg robot appears to be wearing a different pair of shoes every time I make them. I always manage to lose my templates. Or if I manage to keep my templates, I find out that for some reason they don't fit anymore and I have to make new templates anyway. So, yeah, this Death Egg robot's wearing a different pair of shoes than the last one. But with all the components done, we can now take a look at the completed figure. And there he is! Of course, being so big that I don't really have a backdrop large enough to take a picture of it. But there it is in all of its glory. These things, they're roughly a foot tall, give or take. Fully articulated. Here you can see that I painted that jetpack nice and silver, so it matches the game model more or less. This is another one that's roughly comic book style, by the way, because I know that there's subtle differences between the way it was drawn in the comics and the way that it was, the way it's usually depicted in the video games, which in itself is not really consistent. It depends on which game you're playing, but I digress. So the figure is fully articulated in the shoulders, elbows, knees, and has some sweet ankle rockers so you can pull off some dancing. Wish I had a better bicep swivel so I could get a proper dab going on, but I don't know, that fat's kind of played out. Somebody pointed out that my first Death Egg robot that I posted a video about might actually have been one of the earliest recorded instances of an internet dab, the way that I posed him. And I, for one, accept my title as trendsetter. Anyway, this is Wake Game 2001, and I'm signing off. See you next time.